Hi, I'm Ruari from 1 Year No Beer.
I'm Andy from 1 Year No Beer. 3 years ago, we came up with the idea of 1 Year No Beer to help transform the nation, the world's relationship with alcohol. And the reason we came up with this idea is because we were frustrated. We decided we wanted to take a break from alcohol. When we looked around, there was nothing available to us, nothing out there, nothing like the organisation we've created, and that's led to this book, the 28-Day Alcohol-Free Challenge, which is basically the best bits of everything we've learned for the last 3 years.
Absolutely. As a pair of very successful brokers in a city in London, we were always around the pressure to drink, whether that was corporately or with friends or socially. You know, it's just so ingrained in our society, and we didn't see any other way out. That's what we wanted to create with this book. The ability for people to have something to belong to and a step-by-step guide in order to be out there in a alcohol-drenched society, alcohol-free.
Yeah, so today we thought we'd share some of our top tips for you to stay alcohol-free.
Step 1, know what you're going to do, and Andy loves to say this, prepare, prepare, prepare.
Yeah, planning is absolutely key. Sounds over the top, but I have tripped up and slipped up so many times. I cannot believe you when you've been psychologically and socially conditioned to do this thing.
Just look at his face.
All of your life. Yeah, you will slip up. So be prepared. The number one tip, first one, I think, has got to be always know what you're going to drink and have a backup drink. Again, sounds over the top, but do it. If you're going to drink alcohol-free alternative, like a certain lager, for example, a Beck's Blue, make sure it's stocked. Wherever you're going, phone ahead if you must. Make sure it's stocked. If it's not, have a backup drink, and always have this backup drink planned, because you might get there and it might have run out of stock, for example, and that is when old habits take over. You can smell the lager, feel the ambience, and very often the wrong thing comes out and you order an alcoholic drink, so be prepared.
That's all in the neurology of your brain. You're just hardwired to do certain things. It's like how you don't think about how you're going to drive every single day. That's the same thing with drinking. So if we can eliminate those questions where you go, am I, aren't I, what am I going to do, then you're more likely to stay on path. And this is something we talk about, stealth drinking. So stealth drinking is something we came up with after having to survive many social and corporate situations completely alcohol free. Speak to the barman, offer him 20 quid, tell him whatever you get served, it's non-alcoholic. So even if it's a shot, it's just got water in it. If it's a beer, you can have a non-alcoholic beer and top it up with lemonade in a pint glass. It just looks like a pint, nobody will know. Gin and tonic without the gin, wink wink. You know, you can get away with this stuff. When you're in a round and somebody buys you the drink, well, that's really easy. Take a sip, make sure they see you having the drink, because we all know that pressure is real. Toddle off to the bathroom, pour it away, go back to the bar, buy yourself your special drink, wink wink, and nobody will know.
Another good tip to build on that, if you want to come clean as it were and let everyone know what's going on, use this book as your excuse. That's why we created it. You're on a challenge, the 28-Day Alcohol-Free Challenge, and you're loving it. You know, you want to test yourself, you want to see if you get fitter and faster and healthier, and all these things. So use the book as your excuse. That is really important.
The reason why we created that is because I'm not drinking is not acceptable in our society. What? What's wrong with you? Are you weirdo? Are you pregnant? You know, why are you not drinking? Have you got a problem? So this is why we created the challenge. I'm on a challenge, this is what I'm doing. And it stops that person having to look at the tide themselves about their own drinking. It stops them being fearful. So everything we created is around making it easier for you to survive these situations.
Another really good tip, just to build on that, is to take out the ringleader in your social groups. We've all got that one person that holds court, the larger than life, yes, normally really, the larger than life character that if they're on side
have
with
another one,
yeah,
go on. What do you mean you're going home?
If they're on side with your challenge, they're great, but if they're not, they can make your life a misery. You know what it's like? They'll be there taking the mick, winding you up, twisting that rubber arm. So take out the ringleader in advance. This is not a text moment, by the way. This is an old-fashioned phone call. Meet them in person and tell them about your challenge. Tell them why you've decided to take 28 days off alcohol, how you feel, why you're doing it, all your reasons, and get them on side.
The other one is self-sabotage, something I love doing. So call up your friend, maybe the ringleader or somebody else, and say, I'm only coming if you pay £100 if I drink alcohol, right? Now all of a sudden that person is incentivized to not have you drinking alcohol. Another way of self-sabotaging is, of course, driving to an event. You know, nobody wants to drink and drive. It's just socially unacceptable, totally illegal. You don't do it anymore. So by taking your car there, you force your hand. There are other ways to self-sabotage to make sure that you don't trip up at the time. Bear in mind, it's always when you think things are flying, you're like, yeah, I'm really handling this alcohol-free situation, I'm absolutely nailing it. That is when you need to do the most amount of preparation. That's when you need to be the most careful, because it can be something which just comes at the side. A friend who's returned from being in the army or who's been away for a long time.
We call that the ambush, and it will happen at some point on your 28 days. Someone out of the blue would turn up at your house with a bottle of wine, or maybe there'll be a sudden resignation at work, and your resolve will be tested. So prepare for these moments and be ready for when they come. Give yourself a wry smile, make the right decision, and carry on with your alcohol-free adventure.
Let's go back to some of the tips about being out there on the night out, because it is tough. Don't get us wrong. In the early days when you're going alcohol-free, especially if you're doing the 28-day alcohol-free challenge like our book, then it can be really tough. First of all, let's eliminate thirst. Okay, so much of our craving for alcohol is actually thirst. A pint or 2 pints of water at the bar or somewhere else really quickly will eliminate that thirst.
Another really important thing is to throw yourself into the night out. You know, fake it until you make it if you have to. Because so many of these nights out, you'll get such a buzz from them if you actually are full of energy and throw yourself into it, because it's so important. You know, the key to this whole challenge, this 28-day challenge, is to realise that you're not giving anything up. You're gaining an advantage. You're not missing out at all. In fact, your night will get better.
All I say very strongly is don't reaffirm those limiting beliefs and all that stuff you've been convinced of. How many times have you heard people say, oh, they don't drink, they're really boring, or don't invite that person because they don't drink? That's just in your brain. You're now associating the fact that you don't drink with being boring. Forget it, you're not boring. Remember when you were 12 years old and you were running around crazy in the playground having an amazing time socializing? Well, that is you. You don't need alcohol to do that. So wipe that clear and go in and really embrace the night out. So what about if you're at home? You know, it's a totally different situation. Forget about the peer pressure. This is about inner cravings and what's going on in our brain. So let's start with the simple thing. First of all, writing down your reasons why. Now this is a process which will really help you through any part of the alcohol-free challenge. Why do you want to be alcohol-free? What is it you dislike about it when you're drunk or hungover, or, you know, write those things down, dig deep. Save them as a screensaver on your phone. Put them up on the fridge or on the cupboard. Those will be, when you are slightly triggered at home, you'll go, hang on a minute, those are my reasons why I'm sticking to this challenge and I'm going to stick to it.
And there's lots of triggers, especially, it might be to relax. You know, lots of people equate a hard day's work, coming home, sit on the sofa, crack open a bottle of wine. That is a big trigger for them. So we need to prepare for that, we need to plan. A top tip, if you can do it, is restock the fridge. Empty out the fridge. It doesn't matter if you pour away a bit of alcohol, who cares? Give it away, people will always want it, and restock it with really healthy alcohol-free alternatives, such as Seedlip, such as some of these fantastic non-alcoholic beers.
And book something for the following morning. Something for you're gonna love doing that makes alcohol-free totally worthwhile doing. Mountain biking, a nice hike in the fresh air in the morning, a run, whatever it is, some kind of fitness exercise in the morning, and you wake up and you're running around or feeling that incredible, you know, endorphin release from doing some exercise. Meanwhile, getting text messages from your friends like, oh, I feel terrible, my mouth is like a badger's bum, or whatever, you know, you'll be fine.
A badger's bum?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good tip. And one of the key to all of this is that waking up the morning after and feeling great. That's why we're doing this, is what it's all about. You've had a fantastic social night, you've been out there, you've met new people, you know, you've enjoyed yourself, but you wake up the next day feeling great, ready to take on the next day socially. You know, when people talk about, you know, giving up alcohol and not being social, it's the opposite, because you get to do it the next day.
And I think the biggest key about this whole program and what we designed with the book and the program itself is that it's about a mindset shift. If you can have a mindset shift around alcohol, that is literally unlearn all that programming in your brain that you need alcohol to have a good time, be sexy, be successful, then you just don't want to drink anymore. And what an incredible place to be. People say, why do I need to follow a book or something like that to just stop drinking? Well, think about this for a second. It's not just stop drinking. What's the point in that? All you do is hold back your whole social circle, you forget seeing people, you learn absolutely nothing, and you reaffirm those limiting beliefs that you need alcohol to have a good time. What's the point in doing that? Why not come on a journey, follow us in our book, learn how to change your relationship with alcohol and your mindset and just not want it anymore? then it's been worthwhile having a break from alcohol.
So what's really important about this 28-day challenge? It's not just about giving up alcohol. I know that sounds crazy because it's the 28-day alcohol-free challenge, but it's about so much more than that. The reason we wrote the book and we set up the organisation One You Know Beer is because we've seen it firsthand. It's the one change that unlocks so many other powerful well-being changes. When you give up alcohol, you sleep better, you have more motivation, more energy, you train, you exercise more, diets change, waistlines change, careers change. Everything changes because of this one keystone habit, and that's giving up alcohol. And that's why it's so important to take this challenge and give yourself a break and see the other side of life alcohol-free, because it will unlock the best version of you.
Done.
Perfect.
Great. Hi, I'm Ruari from 1 Year No Beer.
Hi, I'm Andy from One You Know Beer.
And together we're the Chuckle Twins.
So the key to this book is 28.